I'm not paying for a messaging app.
Yes, you are.
We have so much data!
Don't pay with your data. 3 months.
Hello, everybody there in internet land. My name is Troy Bernier, and I'm with the Miami International Science Fiction Film Festival. And we have a nice one for you today. Even though we're recording this on Saturday morning, we like to talk a little bit out every once in a while, Sunday morning cartoons. Notice the flavor. So yeah, it is a Saturday morning for us. Nice, beautiful day here in South Florida. But we also have an amazing guest coming to us all the way from Toronto, Canada. And her name is Muniyra Douglas, and her film is Sanduku. And Muniyra is going to be telling us a bit about her project. It's a proof of concept for an animated series. And when a troubled teenage girl discovers that her younger sister has been abducted and teleported to a distant planet by Sanduku, an alien cube, she embarks on a harrowing journey with her friends. Sounds like a really cool story, and we'd like to hear a whole lot more about it. So let's bring on Muniyra.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fabulous. Thanks so much for joining us here at
Thank you for having me.
ECT, and you're coming to us all the way from Toronto.
Right? I know. Yeah.
All right. Good. So tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, you're in Toronto, which is you're in the metro area itself, right? In Toronto.
Yes, I am. Yes, it's quite a big. We have it's considered the GTA, so there's like multiple boroughs, but I'm in Toronto, the capital city. So
that's
yeah.
fantastic. What's the temperature like today?
It's nice. I think it's supposed to get up to like, well, I mean, nice is like getting up to like 23 degrees for us. Celsius. Yeah, Celsius. Yeah. So it's nice and sunny and everything. So we're happy that it's been a lot better weather, because you know Canada's known for pretty chilly weather. So it's been off and on. Yeah.
Arctic blast. Oh my goodness.
Exactly. So at some point it can be sunny, and next, you know, in the afternoon it could be like freezing hail or something. So
yeah,
it's nice now.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about, you know, you're from Toronto. You've been there probably for most of your life. Tell us a bit about how you got into the business. How did you get into the industry?
Well, I really kind of just, I would say, stumbled in. I'm an independent writer, director, and producer, specifically for animation. In 2018-ish, I would say I wrote my first kind of sci-fi novella. It's unpublished. I'm still working on it. But I had a kind of the inkling. I've always loved anime and animation. Like we loved kind of just watching Sunday morning cartoons, as you guys kind of, you know, just mentioned, and kind of getting into that, and kind of paying attention to all the anime and manga over my life. And kind of the way I write is very heavily influenced by that. So for whatever reason, you know, I'm a creative by nature. I just thought that, you know what, this thing that I wrote, this manuscript, it would look dope as, you know, an animation or anime. And I knew kind of instinctively that I wanted to at least see kind of what it would look like. And so what I did was I kind of really stumbled into kind of just reaching out to certain animators and different people to kind of see if I could adapt at least just a small scene of that manuscript into an animation. And so that's what I did. And so it came out as The Glitch, which was a kind of an under 2 minute animation proof of concept for my manuscript. And it was featured in 2020 in several film festivals, which is really exciting because that's not what I wasn't expecting anything to come of it. And so it kind of just started the ball rolling, really, because, not many people, especially Black women in general, but specifically in Toronto and in Canada, young Black women that kind of just get into animation or anime just out of nowhere, out of the blue.
Yeah.
And so in 2022, I was contacted by Caribbean Tales Media Group and Black Women Film Canada to be a part of certain programs to kind of facilitate my next, to be a participant of their programs, to facilitate our next projects. And this is where Sanduku came into play. They provided us with a $10,000 budget to produce our next proof of concept and kind of put together pitch decks and, the whole works and mentorship throughout that entire program. So this was the result of it.
So can I ask, if I can ask, the 10,000 that was provided, where was it supposed to go?
It was supposed to go to this proof of concept / short film.
So any animators or developers?
Yeah.
What specifically?
So it went towards everything. It went towards hiring the animators, the editors, everybody basically that we could get on board, because we were several participants. So whatever it is that we needed, which for me, I was starting from scratch. I had the idea of Sanduku, but I had it written in terms of just an idea, but I didn't have anybody on board. So for me, the program listed hiring everybody I needed to. And it's funny because I wrote initially, they wanted to see the initial script of what the heck Sanduku would look like. And so I initially wrote the kind of 3-minute proof of concept, but because 10,000 for animation is not a lot, I had to seriously scale back. And we ended up just making kind of a minute and a 15 or 30 seconds. So it included the 3 animators, the editor, compositor, the colorist, the background layout artist. It included everybody on the team, which was a total of 13 of us, including myself. So that includes a musical composer. And I really had to enlist their help in terms of, they were so excited to be a part of the project because they had to kind of scale back their rates and kind of work a little bit more overtime to kind of just get it done because we had a deadline. And it really helped that they were just so excited to be a part of a project like this, because, animation is not something that, it's something that takes a very long time to do just one little, movement. And they were just excited to be a part of something that was just different and cool. And a lot of them were, college students or just graduating. And so it was just, a lot of it was just them really being passionate about working on this project, because like I said, the budget was the budget.
I have a couple questions about this.
Yeah.
And some we can talk, we're going to talk about now, but there's others that, in my opinion, is a longer conversation.
Yes.
But what was the most challenging part, or was it challenging taking that idea, getting it in a format, written, right, storyboarded? What was the most challenging part? How did you overcome this?
I will say, because I had no formal training or education in animation, I'm a writer. So, and this is just my second, kind of proof of concept for working on animation itself. The most challenging part, I would say, number one, was adhering to a budget, because this is the first time I had to adhere to a budget, but then also including other people in that budget and accounting for things that I didn't even think would come up.
That's great practice.
It was excellent practice. By the end of it, I'm like, I'm an expert at this, because I had no clue that I would do that. This would happen. Taking the concept of Sanduku, the box. And so Sanduku is Swahili for box. And so the alien cube itself explaining it to, because when the first part would, I had to get it approved by the program coordinators that, okay, we need to know what this is going to look like before we can approve of a budget, essentially. And so explain to somebody that a child's going to get abducted by an alien box, it's like, okay, first of all, what? Because it's not a sci-fi program. I'm the only one doing sci-fi in this program.
Yeah.
And so explaining to them what it would look like was difficult. And so we had to, I enlisted the help of Komi Olaf. He is an Afrofuturistic artist in Toronto. And so he did concept art for it, for the cube. And so what I wanted it to look like, he got it exactly. And I'm so glad he did, because I had gotten, I was a little worried that the idea, you know, there's an idea in your head and you have to transfer it to somebody else. And for them to understand and communicate and know what you want. So the box, the alien cube Sanduku, it's black and it's covered with ancient Ghanaian symbols called Adinkra symbols. And there's symbols that, without giving too much away, there's symbols that represent certain ideas and certain concepts. And so my inception for that idea, it came from two things. It came from one of my favorite sci-fi films is 2001: A Space Odyssey, and Stanley Kubrick's. And so the idea of the monolith, that first scene, just having a geometrical shape, just kind of in itself embodying this eerie kind of creepy idea of just where did it come from, what's going on with it. And then also from the idea of an atom, because Sanduku, the cubes in Sanduku, they kind of revolve around it, move, and it's moving simultaneously like the atoms around the nucleus. And so I took those two concepts of, you know, the monolith and the atomic structure of an atom, and constructed it and put it together with kind of African art. Got Komi Olaf to construct that concept, but then I wanted it 3D. I wanted it 3D, and I was like, it would look so dope because it's in my head. It would look dope. And so I had to enlist Belinda Zhang. She's a graduate at Sheridan College, 3D artist, 3D modeler, and she just took it to a whole nother level. And I was just like, this is perfect.
So what kind of timeline are we talking about now? What's the timeline from this?
So the timeline, when I received the budget, beginning of June. So that's when I could actually pay people. And then it has to be delivered, everything. And that's just a visual. I had to do all the written pitch deck and everything by August 31st. So June 1st to August 31st, that was the deadline.
That's the summer.
It was insane. It was insane. There's a lot of motivation. There was a lot of, it has to get done because it's in my head. I said it would get done. It's going to get done.
Yeah.
And so that's why my team was so amazing, because they were all just like, they're not even doing this for the money. It was just like this. They wanted to push themselves, and they wanted to see if they could get it done. And they had never done something like that. And so I was just so grateful.
You have put the fire under a collaborative team.
I had to.
What every producer wants to see from a showrunner, from a director. You did. That's fantastic.
It was a spiritual experience. That's what because I had to tap into like God mode to like, just because everything that could go wrong went wrong, to the point where it's like, oh my gosh, I paid this person this and they're not delivering. Now I got to find somebody else. And so the final list of who was going to be a part of it really came together kind of mid-July, end of July.
Right.
And so that was the most challenging part, is keeping to the budget, and then also just ensuring that we could deliver the deadline, and being the only animation project, and I will say none of the program coordinators were familiar with animation, and they didn't know what to expect. And so they didn't know what resources I needed, unfortunately. And so I kind of had to just pull from everywhere, pull from my network, pull from my contacts. My team definitely pulled from theirs, getting certain artists on board because I'm building a team from scratch just for this.
Well,
But they were excited to see an animation project that had all these different elements. And I was excited to showcase these artists and their hard work. Because the second part as well, from all those projects, they were to select the top projects to go to the big pitch at TIFF, where you could pitch your idea to a room full of industry professionals. And so, although part of it was just, let's just get this done and get it over with,
right.
the excitement of being a part of, the big pitch, which we were selected for that, to say that we were selected for that, knowing how much hard work they put into it was just, I was just so grateful. And they were amazing.
No,
They're amazing.
That's few people get the opportunity, as filmmakers, to go through this bandwidth of creativity and have a product that they can actually use to expand on. So many people try, they don't make it. So, congratulations.
Thank you
for that part. It's an awesome story, and keep refining it. That's a good thing. But you got me so excited. I want to see the trailer now. So even though I've seen it, dozens of times, I still want to show it to the rest of the world. So let's take a look. Whoa, I love the music there right now.
Thank you. That was my best kept. He's a Toronto producer, so I have to
What was the name again?
Best kept.
Best kept.
Yes. So he's a Toronto producer. It's original music. He created it basically even before the storyboards, because I had to start getting people on board, and we just talked about what I wanted, and had a long conversation about all that, and he knocked it out. He did an amazing job. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah.
Oh, this is awesome. How did you and Caribbean Tales get together?
So they had actually contacted several filmmakers that they were familiar with, and so to be a participant of their programs. And then once they kind of contacted us, they let us know that what they were interested in finding, somebody to produce these concepts or to provide a budget to produce the concepts. They wanted, scripts. So they were familiar with me from my work from before, from the first proof of concept that I made, and they had seen it. And so they reached out to certain filmmakers, myself included, to be a participant in one of their cohorts. Right. So that's kind of how they did that. And they enlisted us to produce a concept for our latest project that we would have had in mind.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How many other festivals have you played at other than ECF? And
for Sanduku?
Yeah.
So we actually, so it was Caribbean Tales, and we actually just got accepted to Toronto Liftoff Film Festival as well, which will be starting in June. So we just got the acceptance for that. Yeah. And so that's also kind of a virtual competition that we're expecting. So we're so excited for that we kind of just got that acceptance letter it was yesterday, a couple of days ago. And so we're kind of waiting for the other ones to kind of roll in. Most of the festivals that we're waiting on is May onwards. And kind of just taking it easy, especially with kind of reaching out to certain people still looking for other producers to partner with and collaborate with, because it
Mhm.
is a proof of concept for an animated
That's right.
series that I
That's right.
created.
Mhm.
And so I'm kind of just taking my time on it, especially with the initial script. It is done. However, I'm not going to say perfectionist, but there, because of the experience I went through with them and the team that I had, it completely changed my mind of how I want things to look, and kind of refining things and just really working and refining the script itself.
Do you have any writers that are helping you proof out, your script?
Not at this point. I have I have a team of writers that I would love to work with. However, because I'm very wary. I'm not say wary, careful of who I want to work with because I've had certain experiences. I'm waiting to kind of reach out to them until probably midsummer-ish, late
Right.
summer, until I get the script a little bit more refined, and also working on the world building. So at least there's a template for them
Yeah.
so that it's there. But because we needed to have that for the program itself to finish out the program, but I'm still kind of refining it. And so before I kind of bring anybody else in, I definitely want um, to hone in more on it than what I had before.
I can tell you that we get asked a lot of questions about the theme of our festival, or how has the festival been going. This is the 10th year,
Mhm.
so we still get content from all over the world. I think our
Mhm.
official count was 29 countries,
Oh,
um,
wow.
which is a lot of different countries. This is what's in the festival. That's not what submits. What submits is more than that. The number of countries, not
Hmm.
100%. Um, only a small fraction of that. And what happened this year, we had an incredible amount of horror films, horror,
Hmm.
horror content. We're a sci-fi festival, but the horror people
Yeah.
still send us so much.
Hmm.
We have we had a large amount, more than, I don't think we've ever had as much animation content.
Yeah.
This is the first year we had an incredible amount of animation content,
Hmm.
which was amazing. Stuff that I say would fall in the category of zero budget production, that
Mm.
dropped down. So that means the
Wow.
bar of production quality went up,
Mm.
went up. In other words, we have so much, A+ content that we just like the past couple of years, we always have more films than what we could actually show.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
either add on a day, or we take away break times and stuff the program, stuff it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. The budget, I'll say, especially for sci-fi, because part of the program that I was in was they connected us with we had basically 2 days, full days of talking to different producers in the
mhm,
industry about our project, and they gave us advice and things of that nature.
yeah,
And part of the thing with sci-fi, one, it's something that's very it can look it's very important for the quality of
yep,
sci-fi. And for me, because the budget was very limited and I had very limited timing, I chose quality over quantity, and that's why it was shortened for me. And that was very important because I knew what type of quality I wanted in terms of sci-fi, and then
hmm
animation on top of that
hmm
was very particular, and I wanted a very particular look. That's why I hired the people I did, because they had a particular look that matched my creativity. And with sci-fi and including horror, there's certain elements to it that require a larger budget or require certain things to be paid more attention to.
sure.
And I think that's it's amazing that there's more, this year for you guys in terms of animation, because the tediousness and the labor that goes into animation is immense. We actually had to hire at the end, kind of where we kind of weaning off of the animation portion. We had to hire an extra animator, Christian Wu, just to animate a
See,
door opening.
you see,
Just to animate a door opening, because none of our animators had time to animate the door opening, a door.
yeah,
and
yeah,
and it took her it took her full day to do that because to match everything up, the tediousness of it, the layers of it. And I don't think people really realize how much it requires for people to do that, and the skill level and the
That's right.
talent to
That's right.
really do that. And so that's why it's so important, even though I'm, speaking of, this is my idea and everything, it really was a collaborative effort. Everybody had to be on board with, everybody had to be at the same level, essentially.
Yeah.
There could be no slacking off or
Yeah.
anything.
Which is one of the reasons why I tell folks to, filmmakers in particular, stay for the credits of the movie you just saw.
Yes.
And today,
So many people asked me who worked on the film because they were like, they want to know. They
10
want
times,
them on board.
there's
Yeah.
just 10 times many people involved in filmmaking
Yeah.
today, any kind of high budget project, because of the so many different aspects that are involved in producing a high quality project, quality product. So that's amazing. And I, again, you have achieved what most have not.
I'm just so grateful.
You've got a concept that you are able to now pitch. You're at the level of, you already have a team to take it to the next level.
I know, I didn't have a team to say I have a team before.
So, and you're outside of the United States, which, that by itself is a challenge for a lot of filmmakers.
Yeah.
So kudos to you.
Thank you.
That's very, very good. I need to also ask you, what's next for the film? What's next? What do you have? Festivals are great. First of all,
yes,
festivals are great because it helps build credibility of whatever your content is. But we know that, that's great. But now you've got to strategically get it into festivals that are going to give you access to help you get to the next level of completing the project, which is going to require additional collaboration of other people. You might want to, in my opinion, you definitely want to meet other filmmakers that have already been through what you've been through and succeeded. And that's one of the benefits of going to film festivals, because you meet with, not just regular filmmakers, but you might meet with some animators that have a team of people. And there's opportunities for collaborative resources. And one reason why you want to collaborate resources is because it's going to drive your budget down. It'll help bring the budget down. So, hey, I need to pay someone to make a door, but what happens if that price compared to the price of, hey, I need you for, a week to do this versus I need you to work on a project that's going to take 3 months. But we've got other people that are keeping you busy too. That really, that could help. So their team grows and they're able to do a lot more overall. But that's going into the business, the film production component of it. So,
no, that's definitely an important part because from that, from the first concept I did, The Glitch, I had worked with Comey Olaf and Carly Forehand on that. And they came on board for this one. And because we were already familiar and they knew what my intention was, I didn't have to sell them what I was doing. And they definitely understood that, although, what we are doing is something that's working towards the future. It's not something that is we're just doing it for now. We're just making a name for ourselves now. But it's something that we're working towards building connections and networking. And so they can tell others, that's how we got several of the other teammates on board, is that they knew other people and they were familiar with the work that I had done.
Yes.
And so for me, what's next is really honing the craft of getting all the details for this project down packed. And connecting with, I have the producers, I have the individuals that were interested in kind of partnering, collaborating. They're just pretty much waiting to make sure that I'm on board in terms of what my vision is. And it's very important for me to know what my vision is going into having those discussions, because it can get very sidelined very easily and kind of snatched up by other people, which has happened. It definitely happened. And so, yes, and I've definitely learned. And so, because what I'm coming in with is not something that is, I would say, is unique in terms of one, in animation. in Toronto, not many women, not many Black women, not many that have an understanding of African, Caribbean, American cultural understanding
Sure.
and wants to
Sure.
link all that together,
Hmm.
and authenticity and being genuine about it. And
Yeah.
so the creativity that's there, creativity is always going to be there, but who's willing to work with you? And I have I like to think that I have an abundance of people who would love to work with me on that respect.
Right.
But I have to know what my vision is so I can stick to that. So anything that comes my way, it doesn't derail, what I have or what my goal is or what my
Yeah.
intention is. So I definitely am working on honing down the script, contacting the people that I would love to be on board in terms of co-producers or potential partnerships with other studios. But also Toronto is really, really good at having grants for filmmakers, and if that falls under the art kind of category, so they have
Awesome.
tons of artistic grants.
That's awesome.
And so I intend on applying for those coming into the fall, and kind of working my way through there. So
That's
especially
awesome.
since
That's
this is
awesome.
an area that's not, it's not popular. It's not popular, and everybody that I've come across has been so supportive of that, to see it through and to see what comes of it. So I'm kind of working off that energy from everybody. So
So,
yeah.
and that's you've got a plan, and that's extremely important that you have a plan that you're going to execute. That's very, very valuable. But I need to get a little bit more out of you.
Okay.
Why is 2001 your favorite?
Um, 2001 is my favorite one. I will say I saw it in university. It was a film studies class. And what stuck out to me all these years was if I can describe it as kind of like a raw, if anybody was going to describe science fiction, kind of just the raw authenticity and just the elements of science fiction, that would be the perfect movie for me. It had the sense of mystery, which I think is always important for science fiction. It doesn't have to explain every little detail. It kind of leaves you trying to figure out what the heck is going on, what the heck is going on. But then it also has so many elements of replay value. And I think that's what
Ooh,
makes it a classic. If you want to go
ooh,
back and be like, 20 years from now, I mean, it's 2023, and that was the first thing that came to my head of what am I going to draw on is a monolith, something so simple that Stanley Kubrick inserted after, of course, basing it off the novel, but
right.
inserting that was iconic. And that's the first thing that you remember, is that this monolith, and just kind of working with that, and kind of, the apes and all that type of stuff.
Okay.
But
No.
there's so many different images that you can and that's what we did in the class, is that we just picked apart what was going on. And even after we picked apart what was going on, there was still more that you could talk about. And I think for me, being able to have a conversation about certain things and topics and images is so important. And that's what I feel like is with filmmaking. And that's why that's how I, incorporate into my work, is that you kind of want to go back and see, oh, like, what's happening here? We could talk about this, the
Right.
colors, the iconography. And for me, that's why it would be my favorite. Yeah.
No, that's really good point. Points that you're making with 2001. It is a fabulous piece, but I know we're running out of time,
Oh,
so
yes.
I've got to ask you these last
Yes.
couple questions. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Oh. I would say Star Wars. Star Wars. Star Wars. I'll go with Star Wars.
Okay, so if
Yes.
it's Star Wars, what are your top three Star Wars characters, and why?
Oh, it would have to be Darth Vader, number one. I always love a good villain, a well written, well rounded villain. It's amazing. They make the entire. I think he makes the entire story. Darth Vader for sure. He's just. I mean, the image of Darth Vader is just again, and even if you don't watch it,
Right.
you know who he is. Like you'll see it, and that's it. The helmet. So Darth Vader. Let me go through this. Han Solo, just because he's cool. His name is Han Solo. he's just cool. He's just dope. I just like Han Solo. Sometimes it's very simple reasons. It's just he's just
okay.
cool.
So we're still stuck on some, not saying that you're stuck, but we're in the old content.
Yes, we are in the old content. You know what? The last one I watched, I can't even remember the name. I wasn't too fond of it, and that's probably why I haven't watched. No, I wasn't.
Which one?
Sorry.
Which one weren't you too fond of? Which one?
The one with Ray and
the trilogy.
Yeah,
the new trilogy.
Yeah, the trilogy. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that
was quite a while ago. What about?
I haven't watched any recent ones. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna fret. I haven't watched any recent ones. Okay. I've been stuck. I'm stuck on The Mandalorian, and because I'm more of a series type person.
You're watching
yes.
That?
Yes, I watched The Mandalorian. So I'm more of a series person versus enjoying the movies.
Okay.
I just couldn't get into it. Maybe that's why I'm stuck on the old ones. I couldn't get into it.
Get into The Mandalorian. Okay.
No, I could get into The Mandalorian, but not the trilogies.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't. So I guess I would have to say The Mandalorian then would be my third, because I'm more of a series person versus watching the movies.
Mando.
I do.
Well, this definitely is going to be.
You don't sound like you're a Mando fan.
Oh, I'm a huge Mando.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes. Okay. I love it.
Okay.
Baby Yoda.
Okay, good.
Okay,
yes. Yes, exactly. That's why I love the Baby Yoda. And so I never got into the trilogies. I couldn't do it.
So does this mean about, I guess in another 2 months you will be done watching most of those TV shows on Disney Plus? So at the very least, we want to be able to invite you back to do a part 2 about some of the series.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'd love to get your analysis on some of that.
Oh, definitely. Because I come from an artistic background, the imagery, I just go on the imagery and the photography in The Mandalorian is just, especially since they have those, the shots afterwards to show where the art and everything. I'm an anime, manga, comic book, like it's just beautiful. And so maybe that's why I just get caught up in just the colors and the imagery of everything. Cool. But yeah, definitely. And I'll definitely have some notes and analysis and everything. All right.
Yeah. Well, definitely hang around for just a couple more minutes.
Okay.
We're wrapping it up now, and we've got to show some sponsors content. So hang on tight.
Oh, okay.
Get out of my seat. You have the best seat in the house at the Misi Fee Awards party.